Right, if you just joined us or you're still with us, it's still Enterprise Morning, reaching you from Enterprise Television. Let's get to our main conversation for this morning. Nigeria and France have signed an MoU to diversify value chains in their solid minerals sector. The agreement, formalized during President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's visit to France, was signed by Nigeria's Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Dele Alake, and France's Benjamin Galazot.
And the collaboration focuses on research, training, and student exchanges to enhance knowledge and skills transfer, a significant aspect in the promotion of sustainable mining practices, and with efforts to reduce carbon emissions, water consumption, and climate impacts.
The MoU also includes co-financed projects for mineral extraction and processing to secure critical mineral supplies and support decarbonized energy projects.
And the partnership emphasizes transparency, international best practices, and improved conditions for communities affected by mining.
It aims to rehabilitate over 2,000 abandoned mining pits and enhance sectoral administration through training and events.
Minister Leke described the deal as pivotal in attracting French investors and boosting Nigeria's global competitiveness.
Very well. So let's have our discussion for this morning. And still with us is Mr. Olusegun Okwadi. Thank you so very much, sir, for hanging on.
Thank you.
We truly do appreciate
it. Thank you very much for having me.
Beautiful. So at the end of our newspaper highlights, we of course did a little bit here and there on that particular matter, but let's fleshing it out for us a bit. It's on minerals and all, and we did talk about in the newspaper headlines, of course, how that European companies are leaving Nigeria and replaced by Chinese companies, and now we're having the president desiring to go bring in the same European countries and companies that do understand our pestle analysis and understand that it's possible that this place might not be a very good place for them to do business. How and why do you think some of these companies will truly come when they truly do understand that the grass is not green as they would want it to look like?
Yeah, thank you very much, Henry. It's when I saw that, I'm the type that does not give up, because you can never say that which will give a greener light at the end of the tunnel. In this kind of a situation, because we have said it times with that number. Rather than rushing to meet some of those people, if you try to make the process within to be conducive for businesses, they'll be the one to rush you. They'll be the one to come. This idea of going to them, maybe making an appeal and wooing them. They will woo you because they know you have the population, you have the resources, natural resources you can talk of. When it comes to even human capital, it's cheaper compared to what you do. I'm sure when you look at some of the online jobs that people are getting these days, it's nothing compared to what those people over there will want to take. Somebody will give you here like $1,000 in a month. I'm sure you know that is huge amount of money by the time you convert it. But nobody there take that kind of a job, even in a week. Not even in a week. So you discover that the labor is cheap, the natural resources is there for you to tap into. Possibly they will be bringing their expertise, which we too have, at least to some extent. So tapping into some of those things is for you to work. But the major thing that has been pushing them off the radar is, one, the level of insecurity, which needs to be addressed. If this environment is well secured, I can tell you that it's the foreign investors that will run after you. A businessman knows where those gray bees are, and he runs after. You know, the bee runs after the honey.
Exactly.
You know, they know where it is, and they run after you. Not you going to invite and bring them out there. So I feel we need to work on our security architecture. That even while you are sitting, why is everybody rushing to China today? It's because they believe that when it comes to producing things, in whichever way you want to have it, it's cheaper. Their government is creating that enabling environment for those businesses. It's not that they will ask you to come from outside and dominate their business. No, you have partnership with their own business to grow it. These are areas that we're going to start looking at, not them coming to dominate our business environment like we are currently experiencing. So those are the things that give it, and you need to just work on the level of security in such a way that that average company that they are going to possibly invest in for them to expand their business is really not actually being killed after a little while. Two, how consistent is your policy Today you have it to this side, the other side, to the next morning is on this side. How do you manage your cost of operation? If you ask me, just few months ago, we know what we're buying for, we know what we are buying it now. What do we know will become of it in the next 2 weeks, in the next one, even tomorrow? You can't predict, because we slept and we woke up one day and we heard that the fuel was now 1,025 at NNPC. I was saying, is it true? Because I remember that morning I was called on a virtual interview to say, this is the current price. I said, where did you hear it? And they said it's all over. I'm not too long, because I want to verify. I started seeing it on our platform as analysts to say this is the current price that we're saying it. No pre-information, nothing. So you can imagine the impact of such on businesses in terms of logistics, in terms of their energy costs that they are going to be. So it will impact on the production. And don't forget, how consistent are we in having access to fund? So even when they want to bring their own fund into the mix of our own this thing, you still discover that our cost of borrowing is high. So it will be difficult for them to maintain some of this. So I will always say, my plea that I've always been telling the government is that, can we look internally, get things done properly, harness every resources that we have, and let these people say, this is money, and the bill will run after it. Say, no, I have to be in Nigeria. I have to be in the country to see how I can tap from this so much that they are at that point. If you allow me, you can carry shoulder. I look at different investors, but if you are the one going, they can. We've seen several of these MoU signed and not materializing. Exactly. We say they will, because they are still studying. So it's high time we come back. Look at the first thing we discussed in the headlines about the tax reforms. Most investors are looking at that as a leverage for them to say, oh, this can give room for companies to grow, individuals to grow, so and we're already shedding those things out there.
So let's look at this from another angle. Looking at the history Niger have with France, and now Nigeria is going to actually sign an MoU with France. And if we go back memory lane, remember there was a time President Bola Tinubu was sitting as the ECOWAS president. And he still is. And now, how would this make us appear before the Niger Republic?
Yeah, well, I said it at the initial stage that your enemy shouldn't be my enemy, but it's always difficult at times when you are the leader. You are supposed to accommodate everyone. You see, the problem that the Francophone countries are having with their the people that actually grant them independence is that they know everything about them. And they lay a wrong foundation in the way they have to do things. So it's like you have the freedom, but you are not free. And that's the challenge that they are faced with. But coming to a different terrain where you know that we didn't colonize this, we might need to study those internal process of those people. The only fear I have with some of these MoU, even if it's scaled through and they start coming in, is what are the measures put in place to checkmate the activities of those corrupt people, that what they are after is just bring the funds, or that this is how we do it. I'm sure you know that's major problem we have in the country. People will come, they want to invest. We see foreign investors say, why are you killing yourself? You see this road that you want to construct, just put one layer. Once they work with it, they will come and even commission it as soon as possible. We'll be able to do what it is. So we must have a system that check internally for this foreign direct investment to actually grow. Otherwise, they will sign the MoU. And years to come, you won't see them coming in to actually do anything because the business climate is really not conducive for them. And the inconsistency in the part of the policy by the government for personal and selfish gain will not allow them to actually make their way in.
Very true. Let's look at this also from another vantage point. Leadership, to whom much is given, much is expected. If there's one individual amongst everyone who should have a better grasp, a better understanding on how to lead, is Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He took so much time honing his skills, preparing for this position. At the end, he is with the position. Why do you think it's finding it very difficult to understand the the best format to go about this issue. He is an accountant. He understands these things better. Why do you think President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is feeling helpless in this particular case?
Henry, I will always use this analogy that President will continue to. It's disappointing that a lot of us too we are having this challenge. It's a function of whom you surround yourselves with. It's very fundamental. Let me use this organization as a practical experience. You have your managing director. Is it the one doing the job? The answer is no. How much information do you get from your subordinates that informed your decision on certain things that you need to do? So do they have the vision that you have, or they have their own personal gain? If you have people internally here that have their own mode of doing things to cut corner because there is no system, I'm sure you know that the managing director will be struggling on his deliverables to make sure that it grows the other, because it's supposed to be strategically, you know, doing maybe some of these FDIs that you're saying, to put his mind, go to some places and say, okay, when I bring those things in, these are things. But you discover that most lieutenants that you have surrounding you feeds you. How do you feel when you have people surrounding the spokesmen are saying that we seem to hype the level of poverty out there, that it's not as bad as people claim it is. When a bag of rice, as we speak, is running to hundreds of thousands, when people cannot afford to buy palm oil, when to drink gari, you see, gari those days, we drink it as part of those things when we want to go and sleep. As
peasants.
You know, just you've taken your dinner, you feel like, can I still take something else? Pick up gari and put sugar. You want to enjoy it because you want to put the granite. But these days, do you know that to drink gari alone, you must have more than 1,000 naira? That's what we use. In fact, we don't have up to 1,000 to take bread and beans those days. So imagine, as somebody is saying that it's not as bad, as terrible, and put the measure vis-a-vis the so-called increment, which we are still awaiting the implementation as we speak. So how do you expect people to survive? So you are collecting 70,000. The cost of transportation alone has hit deep, and we cannot even afford to eat. A lot of people have done. But you see why I don't blame them is that they don't walk on the street like you and I do. They don't wind down. How many of the lieutenants around Mr. President has just his own vehicle and he moves into the market the way you and I will move? There are people that before I move from here to the bus stop, if you have traffic, the number of people that will say, good morning, sir, because they are seeing you dressing in a corporate manner, feel that you are comfortable. Or even my sister, she's neatly dressed, feeling that I can approach her. Not knowing that she just have to fulfill that because of the exigency of the work. So as somebody is saying that it's not as bad, as terrible as people claim to. And that's the message that Mr. President want to believe in, because it's your words against their words. How much do they have access to the common man on the street that is actually struggling to survive, to eat? Those days you say 101. I don't even know the formula we are using now, because a lot of people even struggle to get one meal a day. So which day I try to visit an eatery to say, okay, I've even been working, madam is not around, let me give myself a treat. And I entered and I said, okay, give me this. And I had to go to the other area to make the payment. And they gave me the bill, like 12,000. And I said, sorry now. He passed within I asked here. And I saw the breakdown. And I'm like, the price of things are like tripled. Imagine if I just feel that let me give myself a treat and I don't have enough funds. Because I'm eating everything. I watch people. I think that would make headline. So for me, I think government need to look internally to see how much we can do. This foreign direct investment will come if the environment is conducive for them. So that we won't continue to say we are bringing them in, but we are not seeing the impact to see the growth that is expected.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sheson. Now, to add to your parting shot, let me ask this question. As much as we are asking the government to put some security measures in place, now in a country where we don't even get reports on how the internal mineral sector is being run and what we get to achieve every year, we don't get those reports.
There's no data.
There's no data attached to it. Now, how are they going to reposition it through this MoU now?
Well, the people you are inviting will reposition it for you. Maybe I should put it that way, because I'm sure you know a lot that we have faced, even the AVOT. Remember the issue that happened at Ibadan?
Yeah, exactly. Very true.
And I think one other one, it has to do with people tapping the natural resources and keeping it where they are not supposed to keep it, even in the midst of the people that they are living. A lot is still happening like that in so many areas. It's the one that you see that you actually, in fact, these people are high network people that you cannot even challenge them in the community. These are people you run to when you have problem in the community. So who are you to say, sir, this thing that you are doing is wrong? It's either they finish you, that you cease to exist, or they abandon you and you continue in your dealing. So maybe I will say they will come in to assist in putting the right data, because for any organization that is coming from that space, they must provide to their government the right data of their transactions. Is key. Maybe we would now be relying on that, whether they underestimate or they undervalue or they because these are internal things that we need to do. The Minister for Mineral Resources has said it times that number is a work in progress, but I have not seen any template to show that we're actually ready to provide this data. This is what these people are mining from those places. These are all the illegal miners. People are still mining gold. People are still mining a lot of these resources. And I keep saying, they are not for people like us. It's a massive investment when you think about the equipment that are used to carry out this mining. So why is it difficult to tame them without that? So if you ask me, what I would say is that if those people are indeed serious, because they understand the value and the power of data in making their reports to their country when they have to make those things back. So they will provide the data, possibly we will not write on it, and it's about whatever you give to us, we just take it and sink it.
Thank you so much.
Very, very true. Thank you so very much, Olusegun Okunwade, for being part of our show today. We truly do appreciate you, sir.
It's always a great delight to start the week with you, Henry and Choma.
Thank you, Choma.
Thank you
for joining us.
Thank you so much, Henry.
All right, people, that's just about the time we have for our show today. We'd love to say thank you to you, most importantly, for making this picture complete. Please do well to visit us. You can always find and reach us at enterprisetvnews.com. You may like, comment, and follow us also on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV 7. I am Henry Igwebiki.
And I'm Choma Okohe.
Thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye-bye.